Hi, I'm Matt Hatton from technology industry analyst firm Transformer Insights. We are here at the Things conference in Amsterdam, and we are talking IoT and LoRaWAN. And I'm joined by Bert Tilmans of ioThings. Bert, welcome. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your organization.
Thanks. So that's Bert Tilmans, the co-founder of ioThings. The company name is a Dutch company. We have a product range which is called ioTracker, which is what you see in the booth as well. And I can tell you much more about it in a second.
Okay, great. You brought some kit with you. Is this the ioTracker?
This is it. This is the shiny tracker. This is one specific version of it, which has a panic pull cord for it. I can tell you a bit more about that. And we have this shiny green colored emergency response button, which you can install throughout buildings. And we collaborate strongly with partners. So we create a device. Our partners and integrators build smart applications on top of it.
Okay, so it's this one generic product, and then you can kind of plug in add-ons. You can make use of it for other different use cases. Now, how far do you go in terms of specifying the use cases, or is it all done by the partners for instance, the products that we see here?
We go quite far. It's more like a Swiss Army knife, which you can use for a gazillion things. Yep. But you can tailor the configuration to your needs, and with that, you easily get into like boring, deep technical bits and bytes kind of configuration. So what we do is make it as easy as possible to use the device, to manage the device, to configure the device. And we will be using templates. So you could say, now I want this device to be a personal safety device. Mm-hmm. So when I pull the cord, press the button, it does indoor positioning, and then other services can kick in, for example, to respond. Or I want to use this as a tilt and shock detection device, maybe for your high voltage pillars to detect if it starts tilting around, and then you load a different template on it, and then it works as a shock and tilt detection. So we will have various templates for that eventually.
Okay. But it's the same functionality within the device in all instances. There's not SKUs for various different kinds. You've got one device, and so you benefit from being able to manufacture at scale, I guess.
Exactly. So that's the whole idea about the hardware. So the hardware is packed with sensors, and then depending on your needs, you can reconfigure it. You can even have chats about if you don't need a GPS sensor, for example, to get it out of the print to reduce the costs. But bottom line, we have a multifunctional device which you can fully tailor to your needs, and then you can use it how you like. And then typically we collaborate with our integrators who are maybe in personal safety, maybe in predictive maintenance. They have all the smart business logic on top of that. We can never be like master in all of them, so we rather say we will be master in one thing, which is our device, and help our integrators and platforms, maybe like Data Cakes also here at the conference, or Akenza. They're very good at bringing all that raw data together, doing some smart logic on top of it, which actually makes the data actionable to the businesses.
Okay, and those templates you talked about, do you take input also into those templates from the companies that are actually making active use of it?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a growing thing. It's a living thing in that sense. So we've also developed quite a few capabilities based on customer demands and requests. So that's definitely a growing thing. And everything is then packed into some sort of a web application where you can easily, with sliders and radio buttons, and very easily set your configuration and say, this is the template I want to create, your custom template, and I want to send it to my device, and then you're done. So before, like a few years ago, we had long, boring 90-page documents with bits and bytes, and everyone got headaches, even us. So now it's all seamless.
Okay, that's interesting. And where are you seeing the most adoption? Which kind of use cases are you seeing being the ones that are really going for it with these types of devices?
If you look at the biggest gravity for, at least for our solution, is in the personnel safety. I think the reason for that is that it is a very compact, not too ugly looking device. Mm-hmm. It's easily covertly worn. And one of the specific use cases is in a mental health institute in Germany. They have like 500 pieces of them installed. Personnel is getting into dangerous situations because patients are getting sometimes a bit aggressive. And they wanted to add safety to the personnel. So personnel can now pull the cord. It shouldn't be too difficult, right? To search for a button. So there's just a cord, they can pull it. It does the indoor positioning. That information is sent to one of our partners. It's F24, it's a German company. They are very good at emergency response and follow-up and escalations. And that's it. And then they have the indoor position information, and then the emergency responders can basically start running and helping out.
Okay, fantastic. And what features are there? What sensors? What capabilities are actually on the device? I mean, they're all LoRaWAN devices, presumably, and that's what's used for the connectivity. But what about the sensors and the other features?
Yeah, very good question. So it's packed. It has LoRaWAN, obviously. It has GPS. It has Wi-Fi. There's Bluetooth, so it can scan for Wi-Fi, but also Bluetooth beacons, helping for localization, indoor and outdoor. It has a super accurate light sensor, super accurate temperature sensor. So you could use it, for example, in the food chain, maybe to monitor the food temperatures, to guarantee towards the authorities that food was within the limits. We have an optional humidity sensor, which you can use for similar use cases. And we're working on expanding this port here so you can hook up pretty much any sensor to it as well. So it becomes more of a platform, a sensor platform. And then we have the buzzer and button and all that kind of stuff. So it's in that sense really fully packed.
Yeah, fantastic. Battery life? It depends, right? That is the answer.
That's the easy answer. So it is approximately, depending on the configuration, 50 to 60,000 messages. That doesn't say necessarily per se something, but if you compare it to, so we've used it in elderly care as well. Then you set, for example, every 15 minutes an update. There's a Wi-Fi scan, and then people are walking around like 10 hours a day approximately. So then you reach about 3 to 4 months. And then, depending on your configuration, you can get multiple years if you just need to measure shocks or angles, for example, or just a few days or weeks if you're constantly pushing GPS.
Less of an issue for you because generally there's a person on the end of it, right? So there's someone available to charge it up. Is it mostly those use cases where there's a person on the end, or are there ones where it's used for environmental sensing or something similar?
Yeah, so indeed it's both. So we also have a nice project going on in Switzerland where they indeed want to monitor the electrical like high voltage pillars and tilt the stuff. So then no one is involved. That's actually the whole business case, that no one should be involved. So they can remotely sense the stuff. But then the activities is just using the data from the accelerometer sensor within it, and that's relatively low. So it can run for multiple years with this battery already. So it just features a standard half AA battery.
Okay, good stuff. We're here at the Things conference. This isn't your first time, I would guess. Impressions of the Things conference this time? The last time we were here was 2.5 years ago, I think, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Impressions of the show this year?
I think the most noteworthy stuff is what I've also seen in the opening keynote by Winke and his colleague, and it's really about the maturity of the whole solution, the full end-to-end solution, but also adding the actual case. Like a few years ago, it was really about the technology and LoRa and bits and bytes, and now it is about saving lives because of like a soap dispenser, data tracking, and that kind of stuff. So it's really getting to the actual value to the business and the world.
Yeah, completely. It was very interesting to see those keynotes were mostly about here's some use cases and here's how we're actually using LoRaWAN, rather than being, okay, I'm going to talk to you about LoRaWAN network servers or various bits of technology, right?
That's exactly it, and that's why I think it's really good to have this strong ecosystem where you have good, very solid device makers with the platforms, again, like the TTN, DataCake, Akenza, these kind of platforms who actually make smart use of the data, and then eventually help the businesses. Absolutely.
On that note, Bert Tilmans, thank you very much. Brilliant stuff. So the next speaker we're going to be talking to in about 5 minutes is Reinhard Bischoff of Decent Lab. So join us then.